Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on Monday, November 21st, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. New Orleans Pelicans vs Golden State Warriors. I said it earlier in the week, but Golden State is virtually unbackable away from home right now. The Warriors had lost all straight of their road games prior to Sunday's win, but it took a ridiculous performance from Thompson and Curry to get the job done against a bad team. They are now having to play on the back end of a back-to-back against a New Orleans squad that is expected to have its best player back on the court. This is not a good scheduling spot for Golden State, while New Orleans is rested and motivated coming into this matchup. The Pelicans are also the more balanced team, as they are good on both ends of the court. Take the New Orleans for the win. Both teams have shown the ability to knock down the three-point shot with regularity, as the Warriors are 8th in the NBA with a 37.6 percentage, while the Pelicans are 4th with a 38.5 percentage so far. They also are passing the ball extremely well, as Golden State is averaging 29.2 assists per game, 1st in the sport, while New Orleans is averaging 27 assists per game, 8th in the NBA. These teams played at the beginning of the month and combined for 219 total points in the game, so go with the over 228.5 points, as they should be able to do more here. Milwaukee Bucks vs Portland Trail Blazers. Portland was one of the most surprising teams in the NBA to open the season, winning its first 4 games and 9 of its first 12. The Trail Blazers have lost 3 of their last 4 games since then, though, including a pair of home losses to Brooklyn and Utah to close last week. They received some additional bad news on Sunday when Damian Lillard was diagnosed with a grade 1 calf strain. He had just returned to the floor after a 4-game absence due to a calf strain, but he re-aggravated the issue in the second half against Utah. Milwaukee was the hottest team in the NBA to open the season, winning each of its first 9 games. The Bucks have not been able to maintain that hot start since then, losing 4 of their last 6 games. They came up short at Philadelphia on Friday night in a nationally televised contest, losing in a 110-102 final. Star forward Giannis Antetokounmpo did his best to keep Milwaukee in the game, scoring 25 points, grabbing 14 rebounds, and dishing out 4 assists. He shot poorly at the free throw line for the 3rd consecutive game though, going just 4 of 15. Lillard missed most of last season due to an abdominal injury, but he was averaging 27.6 points and 7 assists per game heading into Saturday's contest. The Blazers will now have to lean more heavily on 4th-year guard Anthony Simons and offseason acquisition Jerami Grant. Simons is averaging 22.5 points per game this year. After signing a $100 million contract this offseason, he scored 31 points in a game against Milwaukee in February when Lillard was sidelined. Grant is not far behind Simons with 19.7 points. The Trail Blazers come into this game ranked number 24 in the NBA offensively, averaging 109.9 points per game. They are facing a Milwaukee defense that is number 4, allowing 106.6 points. Milwaukee has championship resolve on its roster, and I expect that to show on Monday night. The Bucks are facing a wounded Portland team that is going to be without its best player for at least the next few weeks, making this a perfect spot for them to get back on track. They have been very difficult to beat at home this season, winning 8 of their last 9 home games. Milwaukee has also covered the spread at a 10-5 clip in its last 15 games, despite the recent cold stretch. Portland has only covered once in the last 5 meetings between these teams, and that is unlikely to change without Lillard on the court. Take Milwaukee -9 points. These defenses have been struggling a bit lately as Portland is allowing 113.5 points in their last 4 games, while Milwaukee is giving up 109.7 points per game as well. The Bucks should be able to dominate as Giannis is going to have no one that can stop him, and this feels like way too low of a number. The over has hit in the last 6 games between them and Milwaukee, so go with over 215.5 points here. Minnesota Timberwolves vs Miami Heat. Sunday night's games have been excluded from the analysis, and the injury-depleted Miami Heat visited the Cleveland Cavaliers on a 2-game skid. Last Wednesday, Miami started its road trip with a 112-104 defeat at the Toronto Raptors. A couple of days later, the Heat suffered a heartbreaking 107-106 overtime loss at the Washington Wizards. Miami head coach Eric Spoelstra had just 7 players at his disposal last Friday. The Heat blew a 14-point second-half lead, finishing the game with just 35.7% shooting from the field and 25.6% from beyond the three-point line, 11 for 43. Kyle Lowry led Miami with a triple-double of 24 points, 15 assists, and 10 rebounds. Max Strus had 22 points and 5 rebounds, while rookie Nikola Jovic posted 18 points, 6 boards, and a +6 net rating. The Minnesota Timberwolves, 8-8, 6-10 Austrian shillings, outlasted the Philadelphia 76ers 112-109 as 3.5-point road favorites this past Saturday. The T-Wolves extend their winning streak to 3 games but failed to cover for the 4th time in 6 outings. They nearly blew a 15-point fourth-quarter lead, and after Anthony Edwards made a couple of free throws with 4.1 seconds left on the clock, the Sixers missed a pull-up jumper from downtown. Edwards led the way for Minnesota with 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, but he also went just 2 for 10 from beyond the arc. D'Angelo Russell accounted for 19 points and 7 assists, while Karl Anthony Towns made only 5 of his 14 field goal attempts for 12 points. The Timberwolves shot 47.1% from the field and 33.3% from deep, 12 for 36. The short-handed Heat will have a mountain to climb on the second night of a back-to-back set. Minnesota is slowly building up its form, so I'm backing the Timberwolves to win and cover. They haven't impressed against the numbers so far this season, and the clash against the injury-depleted Miami Heat is a nice opportunity for an ATS victory. Miami has covered the spread twice in its previous 8 outings at any location. The Heat will keep it close in this one only if they make a ton of three-pointers, but I highly doubt their chances. On the other side, Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, 13.7 ppg, 12.6 rpg, will dominate in the paint. Take the Minnesota Timberwolves ATS. Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns were tasked with stopping Joel Embiid all night, and they did an admirable job after he dropped 59 in his last game. James Harden did not play, and Therese Maxey is out with a broken foot, so the 76ers were indeed short-handed. Without 2 top scorers, the Timberwolves pounced early on the 76ers and stretched a winning streak with all 3 wins on the road. They won at Cleveland and Orlando and moved to .500 at 8-8. The season started out rough with new addition Rudy Gobert joining the lineup. But they have found a nice groove after 16 games and should use this as a starting point to get back to where they belong, which is in the upper half of the Western Conference. Entering this matchup with the Heat, the Timberwolves rank 4th in pace through the first month or so of play. The Timberwolves managed to sneak out another big road win in a 112-109 win over the Philadelphia 76ers Saturday. Anthony Edwards scored 25 points, but he missed 14 shots on the night. This will be a much more efficient game for both teams, with Miami getting back some of their arsenal. Although the Heat are 27th in pace, Lowry looks a lot healthier, and they have been pushing the tempo without Butler around. Minnesota is not exactly an elite defensive club either. This looks like a back-and-forth high-scoring affair. Take the over 219 points.